sun, their mounts' hooves skimming the sand. They were an awe-inspiring spectacle. However, he knew that they were as nothing to the spectacle that awaited them. Icarus turned to look out to sea. The tide had receded, exposing the fallen skyship. It was like the shield of some war god, half buried in the shallows, its shadow darkening the shoreline. He shivered in the morning air. At first, the procession swept past the gawping Icarus, but then the king reined in his horse and trotted back towards him, the royal mount kicking up clods of sand. With a snort, it came to a halt, so close that Icarus could see the sheen of sweat on its flanks. Astride the horse, King Minos of Crete gazed down upon him.
"Boy, where is your father?"
Daedalus was the king's most trusted advisor. King Minos went to him for advice on matters astronomical, medical, architectural, sculptural, musical, and political. In fact, the king rarely made a decision about anything without first consulting Daedalus. Icarus swallowed. His mouth felt as dry as the sand he shuffled his feet on.
"Where's your tongue?"
King Minos snapped.
"Answer me, before I have it cut out!"
Kings were not known for their patience. The truth was that natural curiosity had overcome Daedalus, and as dawn arrived, he and Icarus had ventured closer to the stricken skyship, the better to inspect the vessel. Wading out into the shallows, they had found a broken seam in the otherwise unblemished exterior, like an armoured breastplate pierced by a well-placed arrow. The split was wide enough to squeeze through, giving access to the ship's interior. It was too tempting to resist. Instructing his son to stay put, Daedalus had gone inside. That had been several hours ago. Before Icarus could convey any of this, the captain of the guard's voice trembled on the morning air. "Sire, look there!" He thrust out an arm. All eyes turned to where he pointed. At the base of the vessel, where the shining hull met the sand, a section was opening up. Icarus would have called it a door, except that it was bigger than any door he had ever seen, dwarfing even the entrance to the great temple. No human needed a door that big. And it was no human that emerged. It had the broad head and legs of a bull, and stood some 10 cubits tall, yet seemed even taller, thanks to 2 great horns that sprang from its head. It regarded the Minoan welcome party with a pair of blazing red eyes.
"Great Zeus!"
muttered the king.
"Protect the king!"
cried the captain of the guard. Responding to this call, 2 of the king's men drew their swords and urged their mounts forward to intercept the creature. It sensed their approach. Cloven hooves pawing at the sand, the beast lowered its head. Icarus expected it to charge like any other bull, but instead it pointed the twin horns at the cavalry. A spiral of light leaped from its horns, as red as the creature's terrible eyes. As the vivid beam touched the leading soldier, he let out a scream. His cry was cut short, as his flesh turned to ashes and his bones fell to the ground. The bodily remains of the soldier drifted away on the breeze as his horse fled, unscathed. The surviving soldier had closed the distance between himself and the creature to a few horse lengths. It swung its head to aim at the onrushing horse and rider. Its movements were unsteady and ponderous, causing Icarus to wonder if it had been injured in the crash. The cavalry blade flashed in the sunlight. With a howl of pain, the bull creature went down, clutching its shoulder. Thick black blood gouted from the freshly inflicted wound onto the pristine sand. The creature sank to its knees. Seemingly exhausted and no longer a threat, it emitted a keening sound, as though it was in pain. The soldier jumped down from his horse and raised his sword once more, ready to deliver the killing blow and avenge his fallen comrade. His furious grip tightened round the hilt. Just then, the bull creature opened one of its strangely human hands, revealing in its leathery palm a device the size and shape of a large coin.